Hello, this is Ginny Brant with Unleash Your God Given Healing with Lifestyle Changes. Today, we're going to look at 9 tests to request after a cancer diagnosis. Now, folks, let's be honest, cancer does not start because you walked under the moon at the wrong time or stepped on a crack. Cancer begins over time when your God given immune system ceases to function as God created it to. Yes, there are underlying causes of cancer. And if you want to reduce your risk of your cancer coming back or just plain getting cancer in the first place, it's best that you do what you can to discover these underlying causes. When my oncologist shared with me that I had none of the risk factors for my cancer and no genetic factors either, whoa, it sent me on a mission to discover what could possibly have caused my cancer. And no stone would be unturned in my quest to discover why I had an aggressive and deadly cancer when I had none of the risk factors or genetic defects. It simply did not make sense until I began to peel back the layers of the onion. I realized that something needed to change, and if I did not discover what those changes were, my highly aggressive cancer would likely come back and with a vengeance. So today I'm going to share with you the test that I requested to be ordered to get to the bottom of why I had cancer. These tests can be ordered by your doctor, and most of them, thankfully, are usually paid for by insurance. They are your ticket to more of a full recovery because you want to do everything you can to get your body and immune system back to functioning the way God created it to function. So here are 9 tests to consider requesting after a cancer diagnosis. Number 1, and you've heard me say this many times, a vitamin D blood test. I've already done an entire video on this that you must watch. It's called What Are Optimal Vitamin D Levels to Fight Flu, Viruses, and Cancer? This video will be referenced in the show notes below, and you will not want to miss it. Cancer Treatment Centers of America, now called City of Hope, ordered this test on me immediately. And they continue to order it for me every year. My oncologist told me that my vitamin D levels had my immune system working below normal at 26. My goal, he said, was to move this test up to the 70 to 90 range. And here's the shocker. I had 2 oncologists tell me that if this test had been higher, I might not have gotten cancer. Lesson learned. Now, insurance usually pays for this test, so ask your doctor or oncologist to order it. Insurance companies are likely to pay for these things if you are a cancer patient, so keep that in mind. Number 2, inflammation markers. They say that real estate is all about location, location, location. Well, cancer is all about inflammation, inflammation, inflammation. Acute inflammation helps an area to heal, but chronic inflammation opens the door for cancer over time. Yes, chronic inflammation is a root cause not only for cancer, but for many other diseases as well. So ask your doctor to order homocysteine levels at your next checkup and CRP or C-reactive protein levels. A normal homocysteine level is generally considered to be 5 to 15 micromoles per liter for optimum levels. Things may vary slightly by lab age and sex, but levels above 15 micromoles per liter are considered elevated, and higher levels, 15 to 30, are moderate, with over 100 severe, potentially increasing cardiovascular risk and cancer risk. A normal C reactive protein level is generally below 1.0 mgs per deciliter, indicating no significant inflammation. Though levels can slightly rise with age or minor issues such as colds, levels over 10 mgs per liter often signal significant infection or inflammation. Now, the timing of these tests is important. It's best to do these tests before you begin radiation or chemotherapy, as they can add to inflammation levels. You can also wait until after cancer treatments and give your body time to heal and restore before doing. Number 3, thyroid function blood test or panel. A thyroid function test is a blood test that checks your thyroid hormone levels, such as TSH, T4, T3, to diagnose conditions like hypothyroidism, underactive, or hyperthyroidism, overactive thyroid, by seeing how well the gland is working, often starting with TSH as an early indicator. A high TSH means the thyroid isn't making enough hormone, while low TSH suggests it's making too much. Your thyroid gland controls many processes in your body, and it's important that it's working up to par and not low and underworking or high and overactive. Insurance usually pays for these tests, so don't be afraid to ask your doctor to order a thyroid panel. Number 4, blood sugar test. Boy, do we live in a country addicted to high carbs and processed food, and as a result, many people have metabolic syndrome, along with the sedentary lifestyle, or what we call blood sugar issues. Please understand that if your blood sugar is too high constantly or too low constantly, your immune system suffers. There is a range that is the sweet spot or Goldilocks for all of us. Because we want our immune system working properly, our blood sugar must be stable and within these ranges. Ask your doctor for a fasting blood sugar test and also an A1C blood sugar test that gives an average of your blood sugar over the last 2 to 3 months. You can also ask your doctor for a possible continuous glucose monitoring system test, which tracks your blood glucose levels as you go throughout the day. You might be surprised as to what makes your blood sugar go up and what makes it go down. A normal fasting blood sugar is typically under 100 milligrams per deciliter, while levels between 100 to 125 suggest prediabetes, and above 126 indicates diabetes. The ranges vary by test and individual health. A normal A1C level is below 5.7%, indicating no diabetes, while 5.7 to 6.4% suggest prediabetes, meaning be cautious, be careful, and 6.5 or higher diagnoses diabetes. Again, this test reflects your average blood sugar over the past 2 to 3 months. A lower percentage means better blood sugar control. And while individual targets vary, aiming for under 5.7% is considered healthy and significantly reduces your risk of getting cancer. Something to think about. Number 5, gluten sensitivity test. After my cancer journey, it was recommended that I ask my oncologist to rule celiac disease out for me. He ordered the blood test and it came back negative, thank goodness. But why is this important? Because if you react to gluten or have any type of gluten sensitivity, it creates the word we just talked about, inflammation in the body. We've already discussed why this can set you up for cancer. I later had a food antigen test which showed a mild sensitivity to gluten. But when my naturopathic doctor saw the results, she wondered if that meant I had sensitivity to the junk gluten that is added to all the bread in the stores and the flours. Did you know they actually add unnatural gluten to our products? So I'm now grinding my own flour from organic whole grains and making my own bread. I do not eat the bread products offered in stores or restaurants unless I know they are whole grains and made a certain way. Something to think about. Here's my video that you'll want to see on why I now grind my own grains. There's more than one reason, so give it a look, and it will be referenced in the show notes below. Number 6, toxic metal and toxic chemicals urine test. To be honest, I already knew I had high lead levels when I was diagnosed with cancer, and I was working to get them down with chelation. After chemotherapy, I had them checked again. And although the lead was about the same, the mercury and aluminum levels, as well as other metals related to the chemotherapy ingredients, were all at high levels. Oh, so discouraging to see. But when I was asked to participate in a clinical trial for my sauna company, the measurement they used was a toxic chemical test done with a urine test. And the first time I did the test, I discovered something I did not know, that I had high levels of toxic chemicals in my body, and many of them were endocrine disrupting chemicals, including glyphosate, the herbicide used so much on our foods today. My doctors finally had something to connect my cancer to when I showed them the results. Of course, that wasn't the only thing I discovered. You can order these urine tests from Mosaic Diagnostics, but a doctor or naturopathic doctor must order them for you. They will also provide a practitioner if you don't have one. So you must pay a fee to this practitioner who can order the test for you and follow up with the results afterwards. The website will be posted in the show notes below. This is very helpful information. These results were key to preventing my cancer from returning because your immune system is compromised when you have high toxic levels, as I did. These tests are usually not paid for by insurance, but sometimes I've discovered that the Veterans Administration will pay for these tests for veterans because they know that they have high toxic loads that relate to many of the diagnoses they later receive. Number 7, underlying infections and viruses. Ask your doctor to check for any viruses or low-grade infections that might be distracting your immune system. Epstein-Barr virus, hepatitis B and C viruses, HIV virus, and human papilloma virus, and any low-grade infection. All of these prevent your immune system from working as God intended. I did find a low-grade infection which showed up on a thermogram of all things, and it went from this molar all the way to my breast tumor, where it was. That was a shocker. So we had to do something about that if I didn't want the cancer coming back. Number 8 is parasites. There are other things that, yes, can distract your immune system. My husband and I just came from a 32-day trip around South America where picking up a parasite is likely. These come from unclean water, food washed in unclean water, and undercooked foods. Although we were very careful, I'm considering doing a parasite cleanse with herbs just to make sure. Tests done after my cancer journey, though, however, showed that I had no parasites, thank goodness. If you suspect you may have parasites, ask your doctor to do a stool test, or you can do a parasite cleanse just in case. Some cancer patients have reported progress after being on antiviral or antiparasitic drugs such as ivermectin and others, and I can see how this might help if you have underlying viruses or parasites. You may not know this, but the state of Florida is doing research on ivermectin related to how it might help cancer patients and cancer treatments. It'll be interesting to see what this research shows. Last but not least is genetic testing, number 9. This is a blood test that checks for inherited mutations, like, for example, BRCA1, BRCA2, present in all cells, indicating a higher risk for certain cancers such as breast, ovarian, colon, and prostate. It was my oncologist's decision to order this test. Why? Because I had an aggressive cancer with no risk factors evident at all. But when the results came back, they were negative, meaning no inherited mutations. It let me know that I needed to investigate further as to what caused my cancer. I had nothing to hang my hat on for cause or genetics. Now, this is a test that, when ordered by your doctor with sufficient reasons, insurance usually pays for it, as they did mine. You want insurance to pay for this test because it is very, very expensive. I'm thankful my oncologist ordered it. If you have family members with your same type of cancer, ask about this testing. It's important to know because decisions are made based on this alone. The cost of these tests can really add up. This is why you want your doctors or oncologist to order as many of them as they can with sufficient reason. I only had to pay for the toxic metals and toxic chemicals test. As you can see, we want to do everything we can to optimize our God-given immune system, especially after a cancer diagnosis and treatments. These 9 tests can help you to discover underlying distractions to your immune system so that you can do something about it. You must be proactive. When fighting cancer, preventing it in the first place or preventing it from returning, our immune system is always front and center, and never forget that. I certainly hope this has been helpful information for you. I hope you will subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, share it, and click the notification bell so you will know when I post new information. Until next time, here's to your good health and to knowing what to do to strengthen your immune system so it can work as God Himself intended. Until next time, may God bless.